When the truth finally hit me, it didn't arrive like a slap. It arrived like a quiet knife, cold, precise, and already inside me before I even realized I'd been cut. I was scrolling through my phone on an ordinary Sunday morning when I saw it. My brother, my only brother, laughing under a canopy of warm lights, gold confetti stuck in his hair, kissing a woman in a white dress I'd never seen before. A wedding, his wedding, the wedding I didn't even know was happening. And the strangest part? The first thing I felt wasn't anger. It was disbelief, soft, ridiculous disbelief, like maybe the algorithm had glitched or someone had thrown a themed party and labeled it wrong. But the caption under the picture killed that fantasy immediately. Celebrating Mr. and Mrs. Hale. My brother's last name. Her last name now too. My chest tightened. My thumb hovered over his contact like muscle memory, like the body always tries to reach for the very people who break it. I called once. Twice. 5 times. On the 6th attempt, someone finally answered. But it wasn't him. Seriously, a woman's voice drawled. I was wondering how long it'd take you to bother us. Her name was Rena, the girlfriend I'd met twice, the one who looked at me like she was measuring my worth in grams and finding me underweight. I need to talk to my brother, I said. A tiny laugh, sharp like metal scraping glass. He doesn't want to talk. And honestly, I don't want you calling. My husband doesn't need dead weight dragging him backward. My husband, dead weight. Each word landed clean and cruel. I kept my voice steady. Put him on the phone. Another pause. Another laugh. He doesn't want you there. He thinks you're sad. Pathetic, really. For a second, everything in my world went silent. No traffic outside, no hum of the fridge, no sound in my own chest. Just the echo of that word, pathetic. Then faintly, my brother's voice. Rena, just give me a second. No, she snapped louder. She needs to understand. We don't need her controlling everything. We're adults. We make our own decisions. Controlling. Of all the lies she could have thrown, that one rattled me the most, because I remembered every moment I'd kept us alive after our father disappeared and our mother died without warning. I remembered being 24, signing forms with a shaking hand while my 14-year-old brother, Noah, buried his face in my jacket and sobbed like the world was ending. I remembered working 2 jobs, sometimes 3, to keep him in school. I remembered skipping meals so he wouldn't have to. I remembered buying him a tiny apartment when he started college, under my name of course, because stability is something you build, not something teenagers magically know how to create. I remembered putting away money for the trip to Japan he dreamed about since he was 16. 15 years of sacrifice, invisible to the world, invisible even to him. But Rena saw none of that. And Noah didn't defend me. Not even once. He whispered. You make things heavy, Alina. We just want space. Heavy. I hung up before the pain could crawl into my voice. I didn't scream. I didn't fall apart. Instead, something inside me clicked, quiet, dangerous, clean. If they wanted space, I would give them the entire sky. I grabbed my keys, drove to the apartment I'd bought him, and walked down the hallway that still smelled like fresh paint. When Rena opened the door, she smirked like she was greeting a stray dog. You actually came, she said. I'm here to talk to my brother. Whatever you need to say, say it here. We're done with your interference. Behind her, Noah stood with his shoulders slumped, hands shoved in his pockets, eyes not daring to meet mine. The same posture he had the day our mother died. Only now he wasn't broken. He was choosing to stay small. And something in me, something human, something loyal, something painfully soft, finally snapped. I turned and walked away. But shame followed me all the way down the elevator, pooling in my throat, settling heavy under my ribs. The mirrored wall showed a woman who looked composed, mascara perfect, hair pinned neatly, but she felt hollow, scraped clean. That night, I sat alone in my home office staring at my screen, replaying 15 years like a film on fast forward. Then a thought came, precise, calm, terrifying in its clarity. They want independence? Fine. Let me show them exactly what that feels like. I opened a blank spreadsheet line by line. I listed everything I'd ever given him. The apartment, the furniture, the utilities, the phone plan, the credit line he used freely, the emergency card that stopped being used for emergencies, the $32,000 travel fund I'd built slowly, quietly, lovingly. No labels. No emotion. Just numbers, cold and honest. Then I called Maya, a lawyer I'd worked with once. Maya, I said, if every account, every asset, every lease is under my legal ownership, can I sever all of it without warning? A slow exhale on her end. Alina. If everything you listed is under your name, you can dissolve every connection immediately. He has no claim. Good. I ended the call. And then I started. The honeymoon flights? Cancelled. Refund issued. The travel fund? Cashed out instantly. The utilities? Transferred out of my name. The streaming accounts? Passwords changed, profiles deleted. The phone plan? His number removed. The emergency credit line? Closed. And the apartment? I put it on the market before dawn. The realtor called back 4 hours later. We've already received multiple offers. One is cash, well above asking. Take it. Within 24 hours, papers were being processed. A week later, the notice hit the apartment door. Vacate within 10 days. I didn't text Noah to warn him he hadn't texted me about his wedding balance restored. When everything was finalized, when the last financial tie snapped free, I sent one text, you wanted distance. Now you have it. Do not contact me again. Blocked his number. Blocked hers. Silence became my new housemate. And for the first time in my adult life, silence didn't feel like abandonment. It felt like peace. Weeks passed. My life didn't collapse, it sharpened. I got promoted. I moved somewhere smaller, somewhere that felt like mine. I booked a solo trip because the world was suddenly wide again. Then one afternoon, an unknown number lit up my phone. I almost ignored it. But something, curiosity, fate, habit, made me answer. Alina? Noah's voice small. Unsteady. Empty in a way I'd never heard before. He told me everything. How Rena had burned through their savings chasing influencer sponsorships that never materialized. How the honeymoon cancellation embarrassed her publicly. How losing the apartment forced them into a cramped rental miles away. How every safety net he'd relied on for years vanished at once. How she left him 2 weeks ago. How he had no idea who he was without me. His breathing cracked as he whispered. I didn't know, Alina. I didn't understand. I thought you were controlling me. But you were the only one holding everything together. I'm so sorry. Please, can we talk? And I closed my eyes, not because it hurt, but because something inside me finally settled for the first time. He wasn't calling me for money, he wasn't calling for help, he was calling because life had finally introduced him to the truth. Love without appreciation is dependence, dependence without respect is exploitation, and exploitation always, eventually, collapses. I didn't answer him right away. Some doors, once closed, don't open the same way again. But I breathed deeply and said, Noah, I hear you. Because forgiveness isn't a gift, it's a boundary. A final one. And maybe, just maybe, someone watching this right now has learned the same lesson I did. If someone cuts you out of their life while benefiting from your sacrifices, your absence will teach them more than your presence ever could. Now tell me, if you were in my place, what would you have done?